She swirled the deep red wine in her glass, her tone cold and matter-of-fact as she said, "I want you to relinquish custody." It sounded more like she was picking out furniture than asking to separate me from my children. The weight of her words didn't match the calm delivery. Across from her at the gleaming oak dining table, I studied her face. The same lips I used to kiss goodnight now curved with quiet arrogance, as if the verdict had already been written. "It's for his benefit," she added, like she was doing me a favor instead of delivering a blow. Jake, her new man, lounged on the couch behind her, his jaw sculpted, his beard meticulously shaped. He liked to think of himself as some kind of enlightenment coach, the type who ran overpriced workshops and devoured books with snarling animals on the covers. I didn't flinch. I stayed calm, my expression unreadable. "If that's what gives you peace," I replied softly. Her gaze tightened, uncertainty flashing in her eyes. She had prepared herself for a battle. Raised voices, maybe some begging. My quiet acceptance unsettled her. In that silence, I began setting my real plan in motion. She hadn't always been like this. There was a time she danced barefoot in the rain, cried at cartoon movies, and could name every dinosaur just to thrill our son. Somewhere between then and now, something dulled her spirit, or maybe I just became too routine. Then Jake showed up in her yoga studio, all muscle and mantras. She drifted from our marriage, insisting it wasn't cheating because we had already grown apart, as if emotional distance gave her license to abandon her vows. I didn't fight her. I listened. I remembered. I played the role she expected. Wounded, passive, defeated. Then came her demand, full custody. She claimed the kids needed consistency. Jake needed space to bond with them. That word, bond, cut deeper than she knew. Still, I agreed without a fight. Too easily. But that night after I signed the temporary agreement, I got to work. Methodically. I documented everything. Recorded calls, saved texts, gathered witness statements from the nanny, and secured notes from our son's therapy sessions, where he whispered through trembling lips about Jake's angry outbursts while his mother stood by and did nothing. I organized everything. Digital backups, printed copies, every entry timestamped and cataloged. This wasn't just about winning custody, it was about building an airtight case. I understood the family court didn't respond to emotion. It responded to structure, facts, and a clean presentation. I'd make sure I had all three. I hired a private investigator, not the kind from old detective movies, but a modern digital expert. He dug into Jake's background and uncovered a pattern. A DUI, 2 sealed domestic abuse cases, and a restraining order from an ex who had changed her name to stay hidden. I kept it all quiet. I let them believe they were in control. She thought her role as the caring mother and Jake's charm would carry them through. And why wouldn't she? I made sure I looked completely beaten. A few days before the court hearing, I sent her lilies with a card that read, "For everything you've done, thank you." She mistook it as surrender. But it was my opening move. The courtroom smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and paper. The kind of sterile space where futures are quietly rewritten. She entered wearing a flowing white dress, an image meant to scream innocence. Jake was beside her, clean-shaven and trying hard to look sincere. I walked in alone, dressed simply in gray, without a lawyer. She gave me a smug half-smile, convinced I was unprepared. When the judge asked if I had anything to add before the agreement was finalized, I stood and handed over a thick binder, carefully labeled and organized. "Your Honor," I said evenly, "this contains information relevant to the safety and welfare of my children under the care of Miss Harper and Mr. Grayson." Her smile faltered. The judge began flipping through the documents. The first pages were our son's therapy transcripts, nights he'd been left alone, terrified, while Jake lost his temper behind a closed door. Then came audio recordings, Jake drunk, shouting insults, brushing off my daughter's cries while her mother laughed in the background. Next came the investigator's report, police records, even those sealed tight, exposed through the right channels. The judge's expression hardened as he read. "I had no idea," she whispered, her voice unsteady. The judge didn't let her finish. "Be silent," he snapped, his authority final. Jake lost it. His cool vanished. Red-faced, he muttered denials, then erupted into shouts before storming out, abandoning her where she sat. She didn't move, just stared at me and the judge, realization dawning as her carefully built image crumbled around her. She'd never really been in control, not of the kids, not of the narrative, not of the outcome. The judge cleared his throat. Sole custody is awarded to Mr. Harper, effective immediately. Supervised visitation for the mother, subject to further review. I didn't celebrate. I nodded slightly as I passed her and whispered, "If that's what gives you closure." That evening, I brought the children home. I told them the storm was over, that our house was theirs again. My son, voice small, asked, "Will Jake come back?" "No," I said firmly. "People like that don't stay when the truth comes out." She bombarded my phone with messages, voicemails, accusations that I manipulated the system. I didn't block her. I let the silence answer. Each missed call a mirror to her decisions. She claimed I distorted reality, but I hadn't twisted anything. I had simply revealed what she tried to bury, with clear evidence and unwavering focus. This wasn't revenge. It was about protecting the two innocent lives she treated like chess pieces. I gave her the illusion of winning, just long enough to take back everything she so carelessly discarded. Piece by undeniable piece.